Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the third video in my series talking about how I set up my Systematic.You Tana event for a Black Friday launch for Black Friday 2023. In the last video, I left you with going through the initial stages of setting up Thrivecart using their Thrivecart checkout page, and was showing you this whimsical to walk you through the process of some of the decisions I was making as I was thinking about how to set this up and how to automate it. I have changed pretty much everything since I met with you last. Now, one of the things I love to share with people, which is really part of how I do everything under Systematic.You and how I do my life, is that it's important to share that when you're building new things, it's okay to make changes. It's okay to start building and talking about a thing and decide that it's not going to work the way you thought it did, and make changes or scrap it all together and go in a completely different direction. So again, I left you with, we're going to use Thrivecart. I want to use Thrivecart because I have a lifetime license and I don't have to pay on an ongoing basis for it. I knew how to set up automations, or at least was learning how to set up the automations with Integrately. As I shared, I'm much more familiar with Zapier, but the Zap Run, or whatever they call the automation run, and Integrately is at a cheaper price point than Zapier. So since this is my new small business, I wanted to go on a more budget-friendly route. But the more I started thinking about this after I did the video, I decided that this is going to be a lot more complicated than I want to have to deal with on a daily basis, particularly because this is something that I'm doing on the side for now. So I started looking for some alternative resources. And the main things I need to figure out were, I need a sales page, which was step one of this diagram. I need a way for people to see what I'm offering and to check out, meaning buy. And I need a way for them to be added into my Discord community. And there were several steps here that still need to happen, but they could happen in different ways. So again, initially the plan was sales page and checkout on Thrivecart. Integrately would send that data to Airtable. I would have a post-purchase form in Airtable that I was going to design with Fillout, which is a form tool I'll show you in the next video that's a layer on top of Airtable data. I absolutely love Fillout, and I'm using the free plan, which is perfectly fine for me. And then I was thinking that I would have, once that post-purchase form was filled out, that data would go into an onboard to Discord view in Airtable, which was going to send it over to Discord and assign the role. So again, I started thinking this is sounding like it's going to be a little tedious to maintain over time. I wonder if there is a tool that I could have when they buy the thing, they're put into Discord without any sort of automations that I need to set up, maintain, troubleshoot, or check. And I was coming up at zero. I wasn't finding anything for quite some time until I came across a tool called Whop. This is my back end of Whop. You'll see it says I have, oh cool, I've had some people look at the product page, which is nice. 4 churned members. These are all my test accounts. And I've created a product, which I'll walk through in a moment. But the Whop dashboard itself is cool because Whop has an option to integrate directly with Discord. So if I went to make a new product, which is how I started this out, you can see there's all kinds of templates that they have. I just chose something else and saw that I could give Discord access. So you can give, when they buy something, give Discord access. And this includes not only giving them a special role, because Discord really relies on roles and permissions. I wanted to put someone into my Systematic.You Discord community, and I wanted them to get the Systematic.You role for Tana Edition, because that's going to put them in a special area of Discord, which would give them the extra channels for discussion, for chat, for resources, and so forth, in addition to the general areas that will be available for the entire community. So that sounds like it's perhaps not too complicated, but one of the things that I was having a hard time wrapping my head around is, well, how do you give Discord access if you don't know the email address associated with the Discord account? Because everything I've dealt with in the past was automations where it would go something like this. Someone buys the thing, use the email they provided to buy the thing to create their account or to add them into an area of, let's say, a forum community like Circle or something like that. I wasn't in the habit of actually getting the email the person would prefer to use to put them inside of that community. I just wanted to find a way to do this right in a way that would work in a sustainable way. So Whop gives me the ability to give Discord access right away when they buy. And the best part, though, which I'll show in another video in this series, is that the person can pick which Discord account they want to connect to my community. So I'm not forcing the person to use a particular email address to associate it with the Discord. And then on my back end, if I go back to products, and I'm going to delete the one I just made by showing you how I can attach a Discord access to a product, I can take a look at customers, and these are all my fake accounts that I was working on. And I can see with the fake accounts what the information is associated with Discord. So, for example, I can see Discord ID and so forth, which I'll blur out because I'm assuming you're not really supposed to share that publicly. The activity, and this is pretty cool, I can see when, the buy, the join, attempted to join the server, but the user had no Discord connected, and then went ahead and completed the checkout, emailed information, automatically assigned new Discord account. So this is all really cool. It's showing all the steps. And this was pretty seamless. It looks like there's a lot of things happening, but this happened within like 3 minutes. So this was really fast and really nice. What this means is that long term, as folks join my various programs and services, I'll be able to see exactly what happens after they bought. So were they able to successfully join the Discord, those sorts of things. So I just found that Whop it's probably, too soon to tell, but I think it's going to be a great solution for this. So let's take a look at System Start Tana Edition and how I set this up inside of Whop. Every time you create a product in Whop, you'll see all of your products listed just under the product page, as you see this one here. It makes it really fast to be able to grab a link to just send someone to your product page to check out. You can also hide and archive easily here. And I can see that I have some sort of options set up with it, which brings me into the more dashboard area of it. Now, there's a lot going on here, so let me just walk you through the things that I can see. So the 3 active customers or 3 active members, all my test accounts. 2 churned customers are those that I actually physically deleted inside of Whop. I'm still not sure if that's the thing to do yet, but I went ahead and deleted them. I can add different pricing plans. So I did a $0 one for checkout. What's nice is that when you look at the pricing options, you can create everything from free to subscription to one-time payment. There's lots of different options in terms of expiration. You can do things with buy now, wait list, which I think is really cool if you wanted to do, I'm assuming like a pre-sale. Let's take a look at that actually. Yeah, so that's nice. I could do a pre-sale if I wanted to see how many people were interested in something. A raffle, it's kind of cool. Visibility, I also have options, of course, with public, secret link, and password. Requirements, this is kind of cool. It almost reminds me of higher ed, like the must own another product reminds me of a prerequisite. In order to, for example, buy this thing, you had to have bought maybe System Edition. That would be nice if I wanted to sort of have a path that says this is really for only folks who have completed this particular level of a service or product. And that would make sense if it was something that required skills before they could do another thing. On the advanced page, there's a number of options that I haven't had a chance to work with too much. I was excited about the collect text responses at checkout because I thought this meant I would be able to get some responses to information such as, what are you most excited to learn in System Start Tana or something like that. I made the question several times and found that it didn't stick, it didn't save. It turns out they're going to be removing that, and at this time they're not going to have an option for collecting text responses. Now, I'm using a form, which you'll see in the next video, but that's just something I learned when I was setting this up. The editor for setting up the design of this page is really simple. So I have options to do everything from the typical page name information. They even have AI baked in, which I didn't use for this particular area. I did use some AI to help me with my copy in other areas, but haven't used it inside of here. You can change what you want things to look like in terms of the slug, categories that you'd like to have, media gallery, which I'm not using more than one image right now. I just have one image, but it looks like I could actually have videos. So for example, if I had an overview of the product, which quite likely I will record, I could add this as another video, which is pretty cool. Information in this bio area or the kind of description area, initially I wasn't really happy with because I saw how it looked kind of cut off like that. It's not, and then on this side you type, this side it's preview. It doesn't actually cut off. It just looks strange in this build page, but it ended up being okay on the preview. I was able to put in features. I have 6 features that I've added. FAQs, which are nice collapsible options here, and then some information about Systematic U in general with links to my Twitter and YouTube. All in all, this page took about 20 minutes, 30 minutes to set up. It took more time than necessary because I didn't have all my copy, my text ready to go before I started with it. But I really was pleased with this builder. I found it to be pretty simple and straightforward to use. Everything saves right away, which I love, so I don't have to keep remembering to save it. Now you might see this apply for marketplace button. I was excited about that because it seems like you could have your shop and your products listed in a marketplace, Whop marketplace, similar to, let's say, Shopify, but you have to have at least a customer review first. So I have to sell to someone who will leave me a review before I can do that. So everything else is checked off until then. So I just have to wait until that. And that's pretty much it for designing the page itself. Now, as far as what does it look like and how have I been working with it? So this is a link to going to take a look at the page, and I can also go to the store, but there isn't anything in the store but this right now. So let's take a look at just this page so you can see what it looks like. So sales page, I like that there's Google Pay. When you do buy now, there's just some pretty straightforward information. It would fill it out. So you can put in Google Pay or a card, your information and so forth, and get access. This is connected to my Stripe account, so that's how I'm having the payments due with processing. As a note on checkout, because I know this can be kind of a controversial topic, I don't do PayPal checkout. And the reason I don't do PayPal checkout, despite being someone who has paid with PayPal for a really long time on different things, is because unfortunately I found that PayPal isn't super friendly to small businesses. I don't know about larger businesses, I just know my experience working in the business that I work in now. We've had situations where, for random reasons, we weren't able to get access to our money for sometimes several days. We were able to get around issues with that by having a very low balance kept in that account and having it continually transferred over to the business account. But every time this happened, which was a handful of times, but it was enough to feel, to raise the heart rate a bit, I kept thinking to myself, when I do this, I'm not going to use PayPal because there was no rhyme or reason to why the money was being held. We'd fill out this random form asking what we sell, which was the same thing as always. And then a couple days later, without any real explanation, the money was released. So I don't feel like it's super business friendly in that regard. I've also heard that people have had issues because PayPal just refunds really easily, no matter what the situation is. And from a business perspective, while I would love to work with folks, of course, if there is a concern about the product or service, it's essentially like chargebacks for no reason. That's why I'm not using PayPal. It just doesn't seem to be very business focused or business friendly. You'll see on this page that I also have information. You can see the full description of what the event is. The Discord access is here too. And when they scroll down, they can see all the information. This is fun. They can ask a question, which I'll see on the back end of my Whop dashboard. And if I answer it and choose to make it visible, people can see this here. This reminds me of like when people ask questions about Amazon products. And at the bottom, it has information, the FAQs I showed you on the dashboard on the back end a moment ago. And that's the full sales page. So is it as fancy as some of the sales pages that I see online? I call them the scroll forever sales pages. I understand there's a reason for all of the different copy that's on the page, but it's not something that I'm wanting to set up just yet. So I think that the short and sweet sales page is fine. We'll see how it goes. I may come to you a few weeks, few months, a year from now and say, I now have very long sales pages because that is something that people do. But for now, I'm going to start with a simpler sales page and we'll see how it goes. Now let's go back to my whimsical so I can make some updates because this is completely changing, right? So instead of starting to delete things, because I like to have a record of what I planned before, I will move this out of the way. But for now, I'm just going to put original plan on top of this one. And then this is going to be the new plan. Or actually, let's call it active plan. So the sales page and checkout is on Whop. So that changes. And I'll update the keys later. Whop will send a receipt automatically to the customer. That is the same as before. And this is a receipt via email. Sales data, nope, I don't need to do this. Eventually, I may set this up so sales data is sent by Integrately to Airtable, what it would be. So I'm gonna actually put this down to build later. Sales data is received by Stripe and sent to Airtable via Integrately. And the reason for this, and I'll just make this gray since it's not ready, is because Whop doesn't have really any integrations that I can see with Integrately or even Zapier. So it does, however, have all the processing for the payments done through Stripe. So Stripe and Integrately work together and I can use it that way. So the Airtable receives the sales records. Again, this is going to be to build later just because I don't need it right now. I like to prioritize the things I need right now and look into them later. You might be wondering, well, what happens? I'm live. If I get sales, they're not going into Airtable. Yes, but I can export them as a CSV into Airtable from Whop. I can also export them as a CSV from Stripe to Airtable, so not a big deal. In the next video, I'll discuss my post-purchase form, and I've set that up like I talked about before using Airtable and Fillout. And then I'll talk you through the video after that, what it looks like for a customer to purchase. So I thought it would be cool to do a rundown of when person buys, this is what they experience. This is the type of email they receive. This is the invitation details and what the whole flow looks like. If you're building something like this for a product or service you're getting ready to sell, I highly recommend you take the time to not only go through the process as a test, creating test accounts and doing it, but actually go through the process in such a detailed way that you record it, because then you can share it with customers. So when I record the video for you to have up on YouTube, it's also going to be an asset that I can share with customers to say, hey, if you decide to join the program, this is what your purchase experience and onboarding experience into the Systematic You Discord community looks like. I think that it helps lower people's concern about, for example, I've never used Discord before. I don't know if I'm going to want to use it or if I'll like it or if it'll be hard to use. Well, I'll share a video of what it's exactly like for someone to make a new Discord account for the first time and to join it if they haven't done it before. I hope this video was helpful to you, and as always, please feel free to leave me comments and questions. I love to hear people's experiences, and I'd be happy to engage with you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.